Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Cloudy day today, rained overnight, maybe some more rain in the forecast for today. But it's kind of nice because it's cooled it off. We've been so hot here lately, like summertime hot, and the last couple of days we've been down in the low 70s, which is pretty nice because it's, like I said, it's been pretty warm, unusually warm. Got a lot in the news today. And so we're going to go over and kind of cover some of the things in the news. But then at the end, there's big news. There's big news, and it's following a pattern. If you've been watching me the last few days, there's a pattern that we're starting to see. And I'm telling you, I've been warning you. I'm not a prophet. I'm not making predictions. But when you start seeing patterns, kind of starting to get a good idea of what's coming next. So stay tuned towards the end so you can get all that. It's just a I don't know, coffee morning more than normal. I mean, every morning's a coffee morning, but this is more than normal. This is a cup my wife picked me up. I thought that was kind of neat. And I do like tea, okay? But yeah, I'm a coffee guy. Anyways, let's get this started because there's just, I even printed off notes because it's that important. Anthony Blinken, the Secretary of State, he just went over to Ukraine, paid a visit there, and has come back and is now pushing the Biden administration to allow Ukraine full usage of the weapons that we've been sending them. So to clarify that, we've been sending over all types of missile defense systems and even missile offense systems. But we've put restrictions on them that they can only use them in a defensive way. And so Blinken is pushing for the Biden administration to allow them to be used to actually offensively attack into Russia. And it looks like that's what's going to happen. That's what's being told, that he's convinced the Biden administration. And so that soon we will see Ukraine using these missiles that could go easily 300 kilometers into Russian territory and striking Russian cities and Russian targets. Is this going to be that turning point, that inflection point of World War III, when the United States is sending weapons to Ukraine so that Ukraine can actively and offensively use them against Russia? I don't know, but it does seem to be a kind of a changing of events. This is a big surprise. Before I flash this up here, I want you all to take a deep breath. I want you to sit down. Try to calm yourself. I don't want anyone blacking out. I don't want anyone going into a panic because this one is shocking. Department of Homeland Security admits that the border has been open to criminals and terrorists. That they admit that, yeah, there's criminals and there's terrorists coming across our border. I know that this is shocking information, but I was just trying to come up with a way to break it to you easily, all right? China seems to be becoming more aggressive with Taiwan. Now, I know that they do this often, but this one is being reported as different than before. It has surrounded Taiwan in a military exercise, multiple planes, multiple ships. Taiwan has responded by activating their military, getting everything on standby. It appears that this one is more than normal because it's completely circumventing Taiwan, the island, and it appears as if they are trying to do drills to shut down the island. And maybe the point is who knows when one of these drills actually become reality. Taiwan is already threatening to take out the Three Gorges Bridge if China attacks Taiwan. So things are heating up there. When it'll happen, who knows, but it looks like it's kind of on that path of inevitability. It's just a matter of when. Speaking of heating things up, weather's been crazy. I just talked about how hot it's been here, and there's been just crazy storms. It was, I believe, 5 people perished yesterday up in Iowa. It's just getting crazy and worse, and I know there's this. It's not really a debate amongst our circle. Is this weather manipulation? Is this increased solar activity? I kind of tend to think that it's both, but It's getting crazy. Anyways, this graphic here I'm putting up on the left-hand side is the Atlantic temperatures in May, the year that Katrina happened, the Hurricane Katrina. On the right-hand side are the current Atlantic temperatures. The temperatures in Atlantic right now are at least as warm, if not warmer, than the typical July, August. So it's significantly hotter in the Atlantic right now. Now this is what is being reported. I know there's going to be some of you that say, well, this is manipulation. This is, who knows? I don't know. I'm just telling you what's being reported. Which tells us that our weather is going to be getting crazier and crazier, that we will probably be experiencing hotter and hotter temperatures, which has already been happening. If you look at Africa, most anywhere close to the equator right now has been experiencing extremely hot temperatures. Florida, South Texas, Africa, Mexico, Latin America, over into Asia, China, places like that are close to that border, or the equator, they are experiencing extremely hot temperatures. And for those of you that live along anywhere in the coastal line that can be affected by hurricanes, you probably should get yourselves prepared already. Kind of come up with a plan. I know you're hurricane people, so you're used to it. But this could be a much, much worse year when it comes to hurricanes. Potentially. At least that's what it's looking like. The Biden administration, they like to push their Bidenomics, right? And they've told us just recently that food inflation has gone down. I mean, it's everything's on a downward path. It's not that bad. People just need to chill out. I know that when you go to the store and you buy your groceries, it looks as if it's gone up in price. When you look at your bank account and you see how little money you have anymore, it appears as if things are costing more and you have less money. But that's just an illusion, folks. Trust the government when they tell you that the prices of food has gone down. Check out these prices here. This is fast food. We don't eat fast food. I know many of you don't, but still. The cost of a McChicken has gone up 199% since the pandemic started, basically. Most of these numbers are based on the pandemic till now. A Frosty, Wendy's, I believe that's what that is, has gone up 111%. A Taco Bell burrito, 132%. I saw one that the 7-layer burrito has gone up almost 200%. There's a whole chart that you can look up. In fact, if I have it, I'll try to post it here. But it's showing how it's ridiculous. I mean, you can go, you and your spouse, you and your wife can go on a date to McDonald's. Not that you should, because that's garbage poison. But if you went on a date to McDonald's and got full meals, it would be about the price as if you went to a regular sit-down restaurant and got a real, actual food meal. But again, inflation's going down. We're in recovery. Everything's fine, folks. Don't worry about the economy. And especially don't pay any attention to this next one here. That China, who is the largest holder of U.S. debt, they are ramping up their de-dollarization and they're dumping U.S. bonds, our debt, at record amounts. And this has been something for years, long before the pandemic, that folks like you and I that's been in this game for a long time have said, all it's going to take is for China to start dumping U.S. bonds. They dump our debt, and then it's like watching it go down the toilet. It's just going to be a swirly all the way down. And so it's happening. They have been doing this for a few years now, but they are increasing the rate at which they are getting rid of U.S. bonds. That is significant in many ways. It's significant in showing the seriousness of China and Russia and BRICS to walk away from the U.S. dollar and to push their own currency, but also the seriousness and the vulnerability of our own currency. But don't worry, and this is the big one that I was talking about at the end. The government has a plan. Now, before I show this, many of you already have heard this, but before I show this, there's been a debate, I guess, in some ways amongst conservatives, and I've seen this in my own comment section often, that when we talk about central bank digital currencies, a digital dollar, the Fed coin, whatever, There's a lot of people that say, well, you know, the Republicans are just not going to stand for this. They're not going to allow this to happen. And I have repeatedly stated that I've seen zero evidence of that. In fact, the only debate and argument between the Republican Party and the Democrat Party when it comes to digital currencies is just the technical stuff of how it should be done. But I've only seen a very tiny handful of Republicans say that this is bad and we should not do it. Well, guess what? Yesterday, the U.S. House, which is Republican controlled, has passed a bill that will allow central bank digital currencies to become a legitimate, lawful, real thing here in the United States. Now, this has been something, again, all along for the last few years. Well, it doesn't matter what the Fed does. We can't have there has to be Congress. Congress has to pass a law. There has to be some bill passed, going into law by Congress, starting in Congress to the president, before the Fed can do something officially to wipe away our paper money and switch us over to a digital currency. Well, I hate to break it to you folks, but that happened yesterday. The United States House of Representatives did pass a law that would, once it gets signed into law, allow for a central bank digital currency. This is big. I've been talking to you for the last several days. Yes, there's all kinds of other things going on, and I will continue to report that kind of stuff. I will continue to create other types of content over on my locals channel. I've started a series periodically where I talk about the experiences of being a medical first responder and doing medical class. Yesterday I had a actual medical mannequin out in the video, and we'll actually show certain medical techniques, whether they be kind of classroom, taking the course, or just tips that I've learned in the field. But anyways, I will be doing all that kind of stuff. But this is serious. And there is a pattern that's being formed, and it's an orchestration, folks. This is all being directed. This is purposeful. This isn't just coincidental that BlackRock is warning their people to take their money out of cash, that the IMF is saying that the US dollar is unsustainable, that Citibank, fourth largest bank, yesterday said that the US economy is headed for a hard landing crash. That gold and silver is skyrocketing and being bought at just insane amounts right now. None of these things are just a coincidence, okay? That Asian countries are saying that we're walking away from the dollar, that African countries, that Middle Eastern countries, all South American countries, they're saying they don't want anything to do with the U.S. dollar anymore. Why are all these things happening, folks? Is because there's definitely people at a certain level that understand that the U.S. dollar is collapsing. It may not look like it on paper right now in front of the average person, but when you start to put all the pieces together, well, it's pretty apparent. And the digital currency is going to take its place. And the digital currency is not that far away. I've been told by numerous people that work in various banking industries or elsewhere that are in the know that most of the system, meaning the banks, all that kind of stuff, they've already transitioned over. Their computer systems, their software, their employees. I've spoken to a few employees of banks that they've already gone through training on how to transition over to digital currency. The groundwork, the infrastructure seems to be now in place. There's been reports over the last few months of them doing test runs where they've made transfers from the United States to the Philippines or to other countries, to kind of test to make sure everything works. And all the reports show that the tests are good. Everything's ready to go. So now it's just waiting for that thing to happen that will push Americans or force Americans to walk away from paper money into digital money. Because they know Americans are different. We're rebellious still. And too many of us aren't going to do this willingly. And it's not going to make any sense, and it's not going to give any validity to digital currency if a vast majority of Americans don't use it and they still just use paper money. They have to, at some point, devalue the paper money and force everyone over to the digital currency, really, for it to work. And I think that's what we're seeing, folks. The red flags are flying, the warning bells are sounding. And all the evidence indicates that we are just full speed ahead into US dollar collapse, into transition over to digital currency. You better get ready for that kind of stuff, because that's going to change our world in ways that I don't think even the Alex Joneses of the world can fully comprehend. Need to get ready, folks. It's serious. And I'm not saying this to scare you. I don't want you to be petrified in fear. I want you to be activated and motivated and pushing yourselves to get ready. I don't have all the answers. Honestly, no one has all the answers when it comes to this. But I know that stocking up, that being able to kind of survive on your own, that having others around you to lean on are always going to be the best answers for something like this. If you have a lot of wealth, retirement plans, things like that, there are gold IRA accounts that you can transition your money over to, but even those aren't 100% guaranteed. You know, there's the UPMA, gold-backed bank. If you want to put money into that, great solution, but not 100% guarantee. To me, the best thing, again, is to just be self-sufficient and find others that have like mind and like spirit around you to be self-sufficient with. Because if this continues down the path that they are directing it, we're in for some really hard times ahead, folks. It's time to get your houses in order and prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.